Hello, everybody. This is John Myers here, and I'm going to be presenting on artist bios. I do not consider myself an authority on this topic, so I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm completely expecting that you guys will have a lot of corrections and input to make. So I hope this finds you well, and I miss you all. So here we go. Um, After reading Dr. Cabot's selections and looking up artist bios online, some basic pointers that I think would guide us in writing an artist bio would be to keep it short as a definite suggestion that runs across just about every source I've found. But and you want to keep it not as detailed as your curriculum vitae, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and your resume. But you do want to include some of your accomplishments, and you don't want to have it be as personal as your artist statement. Um, Now, having said that, it does seem like you want to include a little bit about your work and what your work is about. So it's kind of a little bit of a combination between your resume and your artist statement. And typically, uh, from what I found, most galleries and exhibitions are looking for it to be under 100 words. And as in Dr. Cabot's examples, we have some, as few as like 30, 40 some words. Uh, a checklist um, when you're writing, I like to try and break things down and make them concrete. Again, I'm a high school teacher, so uh, you should always write in third person. I'm not sure why. In fact, I'd like to ask Dr. Cabot that. Um, I've also saw many suggestions that your first sentence should be compelling, although I didn't find that in a lot of the resumes, and almost none of them actually. You want to include where you're from and where you currently live, what you are currently creating, like what your work looks like now or what's driving it, sort of like a little bit maybe like your artist statement there, like a condensed version. Your background in a current medium, some of your accomplishments, you know, if you're really accomplished, maybe some of your highlights, your current projects that you have going, maybe out, your work is a part of, maybe, uh, and quite a few websites that I was on suggested including a good picture of yourself, a current picture of yourself. So I spoke to Jennifer, sorry, Dr. Cabot, and she suggested maybe showing some good examples and some bad examples. So I looked up some artists that I like, and here's what I found. This is Sophia Jadois, and Sophia Jadois' work is very exciting to me. I love it. It's very dark and compelling. But if we read her artist statement, I think it's probably an example of a good artist statement. It's succinct and includes just enough. I think that perhaps her description of her work doesn't quite paint an accurate picture. It's a little ambiguous, so maybe a little bit more about the type of imagery she's working with. But other than that, it seems like a pretty decent artist bio. Again, I'm no authority. Esther Griffith, I included this as an example of a inadequate artist statement. Um, we know where she was born, that she's a Caribbean artist, and that she likes oil painting. I'm not so sure that that really narrows much down. It doesn't really tell us anything about her work or any of her accomplishments. I included this one because I think it's really too minimal. Mel Smothers, in my opinion, Mel does smother his reader with esoteric information and art speak, and seems very unprofessional. Um, I included this because I think it is a really bad example. Alex Kanevsky. I love Alex Kanevsky's paintings, but I think you can only get away with an artist bio like this if you're an artist as well known and recognized as Kanevsky. For most of us starting out, I don't think this would suffice. I love the work of Sangram Majumdar. Um, I think this is a decent example of an artist bio. It's hard to criticize Majumdar because he's kind of like a hero. Um, but I think perhaps it could be consolidated a bit. Maybe not quite as many accomplishments. If this is his summary of accomplishments, then I'd hate to see the extensive list. But um, maybe the two still seem very separate. The artist statement at the top and the bullet at the bottom, sort of like a resume. He could pare this down and make it much shorter to call it an artist bio. Um, and after you write your bio, just some of the review recommendations I thought made sense were having an artist that you admire, um, proofread your bio for artistic content, and that seemed to make a lot of sense to me. And then also having someone that's more of a wordsmith or an efficient writer read your bio for spelling, grammar, and structural errors. This would be really important for me, I know. Um, and again, to reiterate, you should keep your bio updated so it accurately reflects your current work. You wouldn't want a bio that describes you several years ago if your work is completely different. And these are the websites I visited. And if you didn't get to read the bios, like again, I'm new to this, but you could pause your screen at any of the bios if you'd like to read them. Read them. Some of the longer ones, like Mr. Smothers, I would suggest just pausing the presentation so that you can read it. Again, it's good to talk to all of you. I hope that my voice is finding you well, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Be well, and hope to see you soon.